I watched on Netflix Dan Levy's Good Grief.
Oh, I watched it too.
So I love Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek. A lot of people know him. David.
Yeah.
So he wrote, directed, and starred in this. Probably also his production company, I would assume. But
Yeah, I think so.
You know, all of it.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It came out right around the holidays. Definitely, there's a Christmas theme throughout it. And
Yes.
listen, it's in the title, so there's no spoiler alerts. All right, Good Grief. It's about grief. So someone has to die in the first couple scenes, we got to get this going. And it's almost like nerve-wracking, the first scene, because you know who's going to die. It's the character Luke Evans. It's in all the trailers. Like I said, I'm not spoiling anything.
No, but you're right. I wish there's no way to not know, but that whole first sequence.
Oh my gosh.
I thought he was going to die and have a heart attack, which he doesn't. So that's a little bit of a spoiler.
He looked very raw. Sorry, Luke Evans. I really do like you as an actor.
Super handsome.
Played Gaston in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, the live action.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great actor, and I love him. So, but there was something about him, he was so amped up with so much energy.
I was very
he was
nervous.
so taut. I was like, is going to drop dead.
As a spoiler, this is the spoiler I would have wanted. I wanted someone to say, just relax. Enjoy this whole first sequence because he's not going to die now.
We're going to do it for you because the first sequence is lovely. It is on Christmas theme. They sing a Christmas carol I have never freaking heard of before. But they are not in America. It's in London.
England. Yeah.
So maybe it's that's the reason. But just enjoy it. Enjoy the Christmas festivities in the sing-along that they're having. But then it goes very quickly awry. It jumps in time a bit. We do go to the funeral, and there's a funny sequence.
Right, just to clarify, Luke Evans is Dan Levy's husband.
Yes.
And that's,
That's
going
who
through
dies.
the grieving process
Yes.
of losing his husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they seem just like the most perfect couple, very happy and in love, and great group of friends, and just everything's going for them. They just redid their kitchen.
So
everything's happening. And
they're in the music, literary, art world. This friend group.
Everything's great. So, that's what happens in life, Everything's going great, and then it sideswipes you.
Happens, yeah. Oh, Liz.
So, anyways. Listen, it was a quiet story of grief. And if you're expecting the Dan Levy of Schitt's Creek or even some of the other things he's done where it's sort of over the top or
a little bit bigger, yeah.
That's not what's happening here. It is an adult view of grief that is complicated because something happens after the fact that changes the view of his relationship with his now deceased husband. So that has an impact.
Complications.
There was never, even that moment wasn't a big, huge moment. There was never a big moment. It was a very steady paced looking at how one grieves really in their first year, basically. Yeah. And, some of the stuff you have to deal with and face and handle, and he leaned very much on his friends. His friends were his family. We did not really get to know any of Dan Levy's family. Luke Evans' father was played by David Bradley. A lot of you know him from Games of Thrones. And Harry Potter.
Yeah, Filch from Harry Potter.
Listen,
he was so good.
Yeah, he nailed sort of the one substantial scene he had.
Yeah.
There were great supporting cast. Ruth Negga. A really sort of doesn't have her shit together friend. And her arc is interesting. And then you kind of almost immediately, Dan Levy's best friend was played by Himesh Patel.
Oh, I love him so much. Can I just really quick?
Yeah.
Hamish Patel was in Station 11, which is available on Max. Great limited series. And then also the movie Yesterday.
That's fantastic, that movie.
Where he just embodies the Beatles because nobody remembers that they even happened.
He's a glitch in the universe, and he's able to take.
He remembers the Beatles, and
no one else does.
Just that, I love that movie. I love that movie. Anyway, so Hamish Patel, he's fantastic, and he was one of the trio of this tight friendship that supports after the death.
And one of the things about death is there is business logistics. Dan Levy drove me somewhat crazy in this. He didn't really want to deal with them.
Yeah.
And there are times dude, because his lawyer.
Oh, she's so good.
Celia, Imrie, fantastic. Older woman. She has a beautiful sort of wake up moment to him. Like you don't want to be alone or to wallow in it or like to move on. And they did a close up on her face, which as a woman of a certain age, it's like, I appreciate it. It's like, and she owned it and was beautiful in that moment.
She's great. She was in the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. And then also she is was in the series Better Things, which was that Pamela Adlon FX series. She plays Pamela's character's mom. She's fantastic. I mean, you'd recognize her, I think, just from a bunch of different things, but those are a couple of the little standout things for me.
Yeah, so like I'll say, it's a quiet, steady pace story of what grief is. And, there are not really big laughs, but, it reminds me a little bit of like, it had moments of like, a little bit of Love Actually, but then didn't have necessarily the balance of the lightness. But there's so much Christmas in it. I don't know if people want to watch at Christmas. It's not depressing. It's just...
I didn't think it'd have that much Christmas. Well, I mean, still.
I felt like it was a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, and listen, I give it to you, Dan. Set something in London and Paris.
I was just going to joke about that. I was like, that is genius. He's the only American. Did you notice that? But he's like, no, I'm going to write something where we're in London and then I take my friends to Paris and we hang out and go and do museums and
drink
all that.
Wine and yeah, perfect.
And I guess it was because it was the holidays. The amount of lights up and down the various
they're called
streets.
fairy lights in London because we had a brother
in Paris,
both
up and down,
because it's really it's white twinkle lights here, but we had a brother that lived in London for quite a while, and that's I guess what they call them there,
fairy lights.
Yes,
okay.
so just fabulous.
It looked magical.
Yep. So good grief.